This is Stephanie at Hightower Stitching with today's video, which is quilters, yo-yos, a little more knots and needles. I want to share with you 2 or 3 things that I've figured out just in the last week about working on the yo-yos. I think quilting, you just keep learning and learning, and you try different things. And it's amazing how much you can help yourself. Here is that bag of yo-yos I'd been working on, and when I stopped I had 371 in there because I went to the trouble to count them. And they are going on a quilt like one that I did before, with the quilt back was already made, that I made, and then I put the strips on it. And these are, it looks black, but they're a really nice chocolate color. And then here are the yo-yos I've got mounted on it already. And I'll tell you this clue for this one. I'm still trying to do it with the whole piece, but I decided I'd just do one row at a time. And that way I didn't have as much trouble with the pins. And so this is the row that I'm working on right here. And the other thing that I started, because I like to do a couple of different things sometimes I want to do one project, but I really liked those yo-yo blocks that had 25 on a block for that antique quilt that I was working on. And so I'm just picking out some fabric I have, and I'm working up some blocks with 25 of the same, generally the same color yo-yo in it. And I'm gonna, when I finish with a stack of those, I'm gonna see what I'd like to make those into. All of that said, I want to go back to where we were before. And I have some black thread that I hope will show up. And then I have one of those little batting pads. One of the things that I did find out was that you could use them over and over. Those little strings hanging down there are all many times I use that until you get tired of sticking it through there. So those aren't wasteful, even though they're little, and you won't be wasting those. So I'm going to slide this one on there. And you only have to pull it through and then pull one more and you're ready to go. Here's one of the things that I figured out with my circle, is to take it and fold it frontward like always. But instead of starting your first stitch on the outside, which works well, on the inside, which works well, I started on the outside. So I push my needle from the back side and in, and then started running it around. Okay, and then when I pulled it, then the little tab's going to be on the outside. And the only thing you have to remember is that when you go all the way around and you get ready to do the last stitch over here, start watching so that you go out from the inside to the outside, so both of your threads are going to be out there. And what will happen is that it's easy to grab it to pull, and you can pull both of them and then just straighten your thing out, your yo-yo, and then keep pulling it till you get it like it is and knot it, and it's really nice. Now the other thing I did, and that was just related to the knotting, and then I just tie it like 3 or 4 times so it's good and tight. The other thing that I did was the needle. I changed to a different needle. I remembered that I had a skinnier, very sharp needle, and it's called a straw needle, and it's used for applique. And I thought, I'm going to try that. Now, the thing about this needle is I'm using it for this, even though it's pretty long. This is a size 10, and it's 1.5 inches. But I looked it up on the internet, and you can buy them smaller. And I bought a set that was mixed because I didn't know how I'd use them. It had about 4 different sizes in it, a needle each. And I'm going to try those because it really is a sharp, nice needle that goes all the way around quickly when you're doing this. But that's called a straw needle. The other thing I was going to say was when you start putting together the yo-yos, and like I was going to work on the 25, so I'll make a column and then I'll lay it on the other column I'd already done, fold it over, And I want to suggest that you pin them and pin like on the inside here all the way down, and then turn it over and run your knot through on the outside. Or if your material is not a heavy weave, you can run your needle through the inside to start, and the way that you finish off so that it'll be nice and sturdy. And the reason I said that is because I had sat there and I was doing so good, and I had this whole thing done. Well, I didn't pin one row. I said, I know right where these go. And I want you to know, when I opened it back up, this is what I found that I had done. And I had turned, because they will twist on you. And I had twisted one of them. I didn't even know it, because I guess I was watching TV. And to go to get it lay right for that particular one, I couldn't just turn it back around. I had to take it apart and do it. But you say, why do you worry so much about when you're gathering it into that circle and pulling it and using the thread? Well, this is one of those jobs that it's just aggravating to do all the work of putting the gathering in and then getting ready to pull it, and your needle has disappeared into the row going around. Or you can't grab the knot and pull it up like you want to. Just something that makes it more enjoyable. And the other thing is, have multiple needles. Have the one that you like to use going around on your material, that will be a nice and sharp one to go in. And they just have another separate one with a separate thread. And I doubled that thread that you're going to use to tie your yo-yos together. And that makes it easy. Then the last thing that I was going to say to you was, you've ever dropped your needle? And you may already know this, but I tell you all the time, I get a favorite needle for a job, and it'll fly across the floor or it'll fall on the floor. I'll jump up and it'll miss the thread. And one day my husband said, well, wait, let me help you. So he went in and he got a flashlight, which sounds very simple. Why didn't I think about this? But even in the daylight, when he turned the flashlight on and we started looking around, all of a sudden here'd be a needle that was the needle I was looking for. Sometimes it was standing up, and then sometimes it was laying down. And I go around barefoot at night sometimes, so I don't want to step on that and get a surprise. But I hope some of you have tried doing the yo-yos. It's amazing. I'm kind of hooked on them right at the minute. And this phase will probably pass. But this is Stephanie at Hightower Stitching. Thank you for watching. Any notes that I have of anything that I forgot to tell you, I'll put in the description. If this was helpful or fun for you or inspired you a little bit, please subscribe and hit like. That lets me know that I should keep going on and on. Thank you.